8:30 a.m. EST, and we're here doing the free to the public live lab for Algo Factory. Here's the website. At the bottom of the screen, there is the QR code. Go ahead and zap that if you want to roll over the website, see what we do, how to find us. Very long story short, we help to make traders out of people who are not traders. You want to learn how to trade? We'll help you with that. We don't give any investment advice, though. That's not what we do. We simply provide the nuts and the bolts to how you can develop your own algorithm, your own investment plan, whatever it is. We don't do the investment advice thing. So talk to your local investment, your licensed investment advisor before you risk any money on the markets, because you can lose your money doing that. Right? It's risky. All right. Well, let me see. I'm going to grab the link really quick for the YouTube show. I'm going to spread that over to the Rogue News link, and we're going to get started here, and we're going to jump into the markets. And if you are, whether you're in the private group, or if you're on YouTube, either way, you can ask questions. That's what this is for. This is a live lab for beginners, people who are not traders yet, people who are just kind of thinking about becoming a trader. What we do here is we answer questions for people who, are new. And if none of those questions are asked, then of course we can go on and ask some more answer some more complex questions. That's also an option for you. So let me see here. Let's spread that link, everyone. Okay. All right. And by the way, if you're in the private group, do me a favor, head over to YouTube. I will go ahead and put a link in the private group, and just give us a thumbs up and a follow and, all that kind of stuff. That helps the algorithm. Happy Friday from Trev. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Trev, now that I see you're here, how's that algo going? Are you doing some testing? Are you getting some good results? I know we kind of did some tweaks last week on it live, which is really cool. We did that in the private group. That's one thing that's really cool. We have some individuals who are making progress. Even our beginner traders are starting to really make some progress on their algos. The thing about building an algorithm for trading is what you do is you build something, you go back through time on the charts, you look at the historical charts, and you test your algorithm, you test the results, and it takes a little time. This isn't some kind of get rich quick thing. It's something where you do some work, and it takes time and it takes effort. Anybody that says, hey, jump into trading, you're gonna be a millionaire overnight, no, that's probably a scam. Okay, Trev, I see. Trev had some other issues he had to handle, so that's good. We understand that real life comes first. For those of you who know, I've got a wife who's due for a baby on Monday, so you might not see me for a day or two. This, real life comes first, so I understand. Good Fellowship Friday. Why, thank you, Valley Girl. Appreciate that. Good Fellowship Friday. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. We're going to take a look at the markets, and we're going to take a look. There's not really any events happening today. As a matter of fact, 5 minutes ago was some unemployment data for the Canadian dollar, which, unless you're trading the Canadian dollar, it's probably not going to be terribly important. Let's see if I can refresh this and get us the up-to-date data. Employment change. Okay. We'll close that, and we will refresh the screen. Looks like unemployment rate was less than expected, and employment change was better than expected in Canada, so it's going to be strong for the USD CAD. Yesterday, we spent plenty of time talking about how these news events will affect a currency. So if you want to see how that works, go ahead and take a look at yesterday's class. Considering taking a trade right now on the euro. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, we got a little bit of we got some action here. Let me see if I can map out a trade here really quick on the euro. Okay, so a little choppity chop here, but let's do this. You know, one of the things that I had to make an agreement with myself on is during these courses, you know, I need to make sure I'm getting my trading in because I need to make some money. You know, that's importante. Is there enough? I think there's enough juice in this to make a little money here. Let me see. I think there's enough juice. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, that's our point of control right here. It's gonna be. It's probably gonna be just a 1-to-1 trade because my metrics were. It was a shaky trade to begin with. I don't know. I don't think I can take this. I don't think I can. I just don't think it's enough juice. Yeah, it's not a 1-to-1. I don't like it. Nope. If I get a pullback, I can take this. We'll keep an eye on it. Let me throw this up in my other screen, and I'll keep an eye on it. For now, it's not a trade, unless let me see. Yeah, see, look, using a fixed range, all the price is going to be attracted to this area where the red bar is. I mean, it might go above. It could easily head up to the top of the value area in the fixed range, which is this blue line right here. Price could go higher than that, but we have some structure that's in the way, and I don't like trading past structure. It's not something I like to do. So for a 1-to-1, plus I have to leave room for my stop, and I have very tight stops, which is great. So I would actually have to have a 1-to-1 for this to work. I could do a limit entry on this. Yeah, let's do that. We'll set up a limit entry. All right, and let me make sure my trade station is ready to go here. Give me 1 second. Do a little quick Monday morning money making. Actually, Friday morning. But Monday morning money making just is like, try to say that 4 times fast. Monday morning money making. You know, it's like sounds good. All right, so let me just do this. I'm going to do a quick 1-to-1. It's going to be a pretty small trade. Okay, and our take profit is not 07260. And our entry is going to be right at 1.07094, I think. 0.07. Is that right? Yeah, that's legit. All right, and we'll hit buy. We'll see if it hits. It should hit. We should get a trade out of this. We'll see. Oh, shoot. Right as I enter my trade, it starts to pop up. Yeah, maybe it won't hit. I'm going to put a time limit on this thing. Good till cancel, good till date. Yeah, shoot. Look at that. Right as soon as I enter the trade, the sucker pops up. So let's see. That's a pretty strong little mini extension, so there's a decent chance it'll pop down for this. I'm going to put a... Let me see. Yeah, I'll put like an hour for this to go through. Not even that. I'll maybe put like till... Yeah, I'll give it an hour. We'll see. Today's the 9th. Let's do the 8th. Okay, modify order. This thing's got an hour to hit. So we'll see how it goes. There, see, it's already back down. It's getting close to entry. See how it came back down. Get all excited. It pops up. Oh, my trade's gonna go without me. No, just be patient. And there it is in the trade. Okay, so let me set my alarms. We got stop loss. Got to take profit. So limit order, everybody. This is we'll talk about that today. Okay. Now you just saw a trade happen. I did what's called a limit order. So if I had done a market order, I would have fallen victim to the spread. We've talked about this before, but this is always a good one to review, right? And I haven't seen. Okay, let's look at the comments to make sure there's not anything better to talk about. We got oh, Lisa Gray, thank you, appreciate that. Cool Cat says Grand Rising, praying for a smooth delivery. Yes, thank you for that. Jay Martin, howdy howdy. The juice is loose, says Jay. And Valley Girl says, show me the juice. And everybody is okay. So thank you all for the kind words, and I appreciate that. Also, don't forget to do thumbs up, like, subscribe, follow, all that stuff. And I appreciate you all coming on to YouTube. So that's much appreciated. Let me look in the private chat, make sure there's no questions to answer. Okay, so Trev says he finished 60 back tests. Analyze the data, 2-day high time frame bias, confirm for the next round of testing. Okay, so Trev has done an initial 60 back test based on what we talked about, what we designed, and is ready to move forward with more. So that's good news. It's very good news. All right, glad that it's working out. So yeah, this particular trade. Look, I'm gonna right now give people a chance to ask questions. In the meantime, we're just gonna briefly go over what I did with this trade and how I didn't end up really kind of giving myself a black eye by doing a market entry. So a common thing to happen with trading is people panic into trades because it starts to go in their direction, right? And look, it went all the way up here and now it's pressed all the way back down here. I could have gotten even a better entry if I was patient. Now is like a pretty nice entry, and it makes sense because there's a lot of support right here, these little wicks right there. So that's that. But I'm in the trade, and it is what it is. So it's not a very big trade. So the way that, and there's a lot of protection here with this structure, so I should be okay. Even if I'm not, that's okay. We play probabilities. You can lose a trade. You know, I mean, you guys have seen recently the trades that I've been winning. For example, the gold trade that I won, that everybody saw. So let's see here. XAU. So this was the gold trade, and let's hope that it's mapped out. I think it is. It hit the target last night. Let me expand the screen. And I took this trade for everybody to see. So I don't always show my trades, not all my trades, but I will. If I can take like a good swing trade, I'll show that in Algo Factory before or as I enter it. And you know, I took that trade. I was super patient. I had a good stop loss. Price did head down for a bit, and then it headed back up. Okay, so I had a good strong stop. I had it below a pretty strong support, and kind of not unlike the trade I just took right now, but on a much higher time frame. And you can see that price went through my first target. So, and that first target is nearly a 1-to-1. It's not quite. So I raised my stop to entry, and now this trade is in permanent profit. If the price were to go through my stop loss, I've already taken profit off this trade. And if it were to go to and whatever is left is just going to be a zero sum. And if it goes to my top target, which it looks like it might, then I will be making a tidy sum. Now on the Bitcoin trade, this was a trade that I took, and it's it's doing Bitcoin things. So it did a nice pop up, and now the liquidity, the major liquidity for this, at least a few days ago when I entered this trade, was sitting at 27.2, which is where it was actually kind of higher than that. But we'll review the liquidity and make sure that this is still a good trade. Because a lot of people might have taken their trades off. I mean, I can tell you most of the high time frame liquidity is right here. So between 25.750, 760, up to 26.2. So most of the short-term liquidity is kind of, up in this area. So let me expand this a bit. So it's mostly up in here is where a lot of liquidity is. So it seems as if some people kind of went short and left a lot of stop losses up here. So price I expect to rally up to this kind of local area next. But if I go ahead and take a look at the liquidity On the upside, let's go ahead and spin to win, see if I can get some more credits. 1 credit yesterday. It's nice to win a spin. Nope, no wins. Okay, so we go. Yeah, still, most liquidity is sitting right here at 27.4. Not a lot of liquidity headed down towards my stop loss. Stop loss, I think, is it 25.3? Yeah, 25.3. 25.3 is a stop loss. So not there's not a ton of liquidity in there. There's like a couple little bits below that. There's liquidity building, people going long, but most of the liquidity is kind of right where price is right now. So price is probably going to hang out where it is and suck up this liquidity for a bit, and then it should head up. It doesn't mean it will. It could go to stop loss. That happens, right? But the most liquidity is right here. And when I made the trade, that was the plan. But here's the thing. What has changed in the last day or so is this. Look at all this liquidity down in the 23, 21. All this liquidity built up recently. And this tells me there's a decent chance that price is going to head down here. Now, I have said that I expect price to head down towards, like, say, 15,000 maybe as a low, right? Doesn't have to go all the way there. But I do expect before the end of the year for price to head down there. And I expect there to be September, October. I've been saying I think October, but it could easily be September. Historically, September is not good for stocks, and it depends on, like, specifically the NASDAQ is what is going to be followed by Bitcoin. Bitcoin tends to follow the NASDAQ, so we'll take a look at the QQQ here pretty soon. That might be part of this. We might do a Bitcoin versus NASDAQ correlation today. That might be more valuable. If you want to learn about spreads and limit versus market, I've done videos on that before. So just go back through the clips on the YouTube channel. All right, you can go see that stuff. We'll talk about QQQ NASDAQ versus Bitcoin. All right, we'll look at a correlation there, and we'll see how those two behave, because that's what's going to matter. In September, like I said, stocks tend to not do well. We are in a funky time. Okay, so because we're in a funky time, it might be that things behave differently. All right, so we'll see about that. It's a very funky time. Markets are extremely unpredictable. Cool Cat says, ask a question. How often do you market close position when in profit? When my algorithms tell me to. I don't have a how often. I don't have a percent of time that I can tell you. I mean, technically I do, but I don't track that because it's not something I need to track. If I have an algorithmic exit, if my algo tells me to get out, that's when I will market close, or I will put a limit order close to price, which is effectively market closing without losing to the spread. Okay, and that's that's more of not an advanced question, but it's not exactly a beginner question. Mavbet asks, "Good Friday morning." Oh, says good Friday morning. Good to have you on, Mavbet. Thanks for joining. Okay, so to look at the NASDAQ, right? I'll probably look at QQQ, which is basically like an index or a sort of thing. It looks like, though, we're having an unexpected pop up in stocks today. Not unexpected at all, but yeah, I mean, it's a pop up. I shouldn't say unexpected, though. I mean, the charts did call for it. But the stocks have kind of popped up here. What might happen here is September, and this particular September, look, everything runs on calendar quarters, right? In the finance world. So September is the end of a quarter, and we're in very, very odd times in the world right now when it comes to finance. So you'll find that wars follow finance. Everything follows finance. Political stuff follows finance. Political cycles. Everything follows finance. Money comes first. Economics come first. Economics is literally where the money is, right? So, you want to kind of look at historical times. Look at when there's, conflict. Look at when there's unrest, things like that. It's all economic. It's 100%. I'm sorry to all you political science out there, but if you just followed economics, you have an easier time understanding why things go, and because politics is downstream from economics. It's all about the money. All right. So having said that, it looks like it might be that price may be kind of held up the rest of this month. in this kind of range because I was expecting price to fall. But what may happen here as price is being held up, what may happen is because the volume is really low right now. If you see that on the bottom of the screen, you'll see this right here. That's a volatility measure, and the volatility's fallen off a cliff. Like, it hasn't been this quiet since, you know, the beginning of August, and August tends to be pretty quiet. August was actually loud compared to most August. But we're sitting at super quiet times right now. Low volatility. Now, low volatility tends to be followed by high volatility, but I expect for volatility to stay low through the end of the month, maybe. I don't know that that's going to happen, and I will just simply follow the charts and trade them. But this is something that we can kind of look at and expect. Okay, so it looks like price may be held in this range, above this support perhaps, and below this resistance through the rest of the month. Okay, that may happen. You know, that's possible. And I think that when the quarter is over at the end of September, I do think all bets are off in a sense. And I do think a lot of money is waiting for the quarter to end. That's what I think. I think, you know, I think that's what's going on. And when money is waiting, when money is on the sidelines, then what's going on is a bunch of retail guys like us, those who are not having $10, $20 million accounts, we are just kind of trading the chop, and trading the chop's not easy to do. But we talked about this, I think, yesterday, the day before. It's the big money that moves markets. When you see those big impulses, those big moves from here to here, all the way down, that's big money. That's the institutional money that's making those big moves. And these little areas where not much is happening, that's just retail. That's us retail guys. You know, I've never had an account over $2 million that I've been trading, so I think I consider myself a retail. Call me a piker. I'm a proud piker. If you want to go back to the whole, you know, stock market movie talk from the 80s, the piker, 90s. All right, so let's go ahead and do our correlation because we got about 8 minutes left. So I'm going to go to the QQQ, which is, you know, NASDAQ, basically a trust. It's just a way to look at the NASDAQ. And okay, so this is actually not a US based. This is Invesco. That's good. QQQ. So I'm going to overlay Bitcoin on this and go to a higher time frame. So let's go to the higher time frame first, and we'll look at the weekly. It's good. We want to go look at a lot of history. Let's erase our drawings. Okay, and we will. The way you overlay a chart in TradingView is you hit the plus button, okay, and then you compare symbol, then you type in BTC, and you choose the one you like. I'm gonna look at same percent scale. I'm not quite as concerned with looking at the price right now, so that way it's you're you know, showing how like Bitcoin's a lot more volatile. Certainly, maybe I should have done the price scale. Let's undo that because that's gonna make it hard to see, to be honest. Let's do new price scale. Okay. All right, so you can see there is a correlation between Bitcoin and the NASDAQ. Okay. And let me go ahead and do a, I guess it's not going to allow me to do a log chart on this comparison. Okay. So I guess that's that. So let's undo the comparison, see if we can do a log chart. Log chart. Comparison. Bitcoin new price scale. Okay, I'm not sure we're looking at a log chart here. I don't think we are. Yeah, oh no, here log. And log. All right, so now that it's logarithmic, we can look at the it's easier to look at the answering a quick private question for Claude. All right, so yeah, Claude, let's save that and more on for the private class. We'll talk about that stuff then. That's private info. I don't want to. That info is just for us. Okay. There's some info that I shared with Algo Factory that came from a source that is close to a major situation, and I can't really share that out here. This is my own drip. So we do drips. The gorilla, the gorilla does, and he's not. By the way, Gorilla's not feeling well last few days. He's just taking a break so he can come back next week, and he's got some family stuff going on as well. So we're not going to hear from him, today or yesterday, obviously. So he should be back Monday. We'll see about it. But back to our correlation, you can see there clearly is one. You see this dump in the NASDAQ right here. Let's go ahead and do this. So you can get a dump in the NASDAQ, and you'll see that Bitcoin has the same thing there. You can see Bitcoin did its own peak here. It did quote unquote decouple a bit. But in the end, the correlation still holds because you have a large price increase up to here, and then you have a large price decrease down here, and now you have price heading up to here. And of course, Bitcoin now is in its it's in the winter phase right now. It's at the end of its winter phase and starting to head back. So it didn't have the push to rise as much as it did compared to NASDAQ, just because of where Bitcoin is in the 4-year cycle. But there's a very clear correlation between Bitcoin and the NASDAQ. And so I just wanted to show everybody, if you want to do a comparison, you simply hit this plus button, right? So let me kind of just run through that again. Okay, so, and I'll make a clip out of this. So what we're doing is we want to make a comparison between, say the NASDAQ and Bitcoin. Okay, so the way to do that on TradingView is, see, a lot of times you're going to want to do comparisons because there are going to be correlations, and one will move before the other. And so you'll be able to predict the price for one because it moves before the other, right? So do a comparison. First, you want to switch to logarithmic. Okay, so you go all the way to the right where the price is. You go down and you hit the L, right? And you make sure that the L is highlighted. Now you're in a log chart. And a log chart is just a way to smooth out a lot of the market dynamics. It makes things easier to compare. I'm not going to get too far into what a log chart is right now, but that's what you want to do, okay? And then you hit this plus button and you choose what you want. And I would just do a new price scale, right? In this case. And then I will go over to the left and I will switch to logarithmic. And now you're going to see how these two compare nicely. And you'll notice that Bitcoin peaked out and fell before the NASDAQ. It pretty much rose at the same time as the NASDAQ in this case, so I don't know how viable the correlation is. The NASDAQ rose before Bitcoin on this. So, but the equities market and the tech industry is a healthy way to predict. For example, Bitcoin did kind of start to head down before the NASDAQ here. There's a little bit of possible lead time compared to the NASDAQ with Bitcoin. You see Bitcoin like maybe a week before the NASDAQ started to rise, Bitcoin started to rise. So it was a week ahead here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So almost a month before the NASDAQ started falling down, maybe a month and a half, Bitcoin started falling. Here the rise was at the same time, more or less. Here the rise was about 2 weeks ahead. So you're looking at a week or two lead time, Bitcoin compared to NASDAQ. And it seems to be more poignant outside of the, like when Bitcoin is not in its winter phase. So when Bitcoin is in its, halving time, say like the halving year and the year after that, and maybe the year after that, seems to be as per this chart, that seems to be how it is right now. It wasn't always that way. The market has been changing, but that's kind of where it is since, say, 2020. So that's that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end the private class, or the public class right here. We're going to roll over to the private group. So for whoever is on YouTube, thank you for joining and commenting and liking and subscribing and all that stuff. It helps out with the algos. It helps push our channel up. And the more people join us, the more our resources are. We're starting to find out that our community is really a valuable thing, right? So that's, we want to increase the size of our community because that's just more resources. Like, we work together. We have guys in there who are coding now. We got, people helping each other with algorithms and stuff. I mean, it's, that's one of the things that Sure, we're like $50 a month, which is super, super cheap. But with that, on top of that being so cheap, you're getting a community of people who will help you out too. So that's a big deal. And we're if anybody wants to learn how to like code and do these things, we are looking to bring people up from within when the time comes, when they're proficient with coding. Want to maybe help them become a part of what we're doing. So join us, www.algofactory.tech, and we will see